there, it's Jenny, and I am here today to share with you how I am planning in my memory planner. I am going to be using these photos that you see that I've already printed and the Maggie Holmes round trip ephemera. That's basically it. I mean, give or take a few things, but I'm going to go ahead and pull out the pages from my disc bound planner and place them on my desk. I want to have a smooth working surface, or as smooth of a working surface as I possibly can. I'm going to trim apart my photos. I used the Pick Frame app, but any collage app will do the same thing to get photos that are approximately 1.5 by 2 inches tall. And then I use my Canon selfie to print them out. This format works perfectly for me. I do the same thing every week, and I have been for the past 7 years. And yes, this is my 7th year in a memory planner. I started in 2016. Now I am adhering the photos to the days of the week that they occurred. Now I say the same thing every week. I try to keep them on the days that they happened, although some weeks or some days it's just not important or it's not possible. Not possible because I have too many photos. Not important because they're pictures of my my pets doing innocuous things, a selfie that it didn't really matter when it was taken, things like that. Otherwise, though, I really try to stick to the days of the weeks they were taken. It helps tell the overall story of the week. Like, for example, there is a photo of my son playing baseball on Wednesday. He has baseball games every Wednesday night. And so I am able to sort of tell that story simply by having a photo each week in that spot. Now, this was a week that I went to New York City for the weekend, and so we have the ordinary week throughout the week and then the weekend, including some New York photos. That's why this package of ephemera was perfect for this particular week. Now, I am going to go through and just pick out pieces that I'd like to use. I intend on creating 3 main clusters, and then that's basically it. There is a lot here. And I also want to do a sizable amount of journaling as well. And so I'm not going to go too crazy overboard with the decorations just because I want to be able to get all the words and all of the things. And as you see, all these photos, so many in this layout. So for my clusters, I will just place like items together as I begin, and then the will all get adhered together and placed in these places where I'm putting them. Some of this stuff is not really imperative that I choose, right? So like right there, I've got that scrolly banner. It could be one of these labels. It could be scrolly banner. It could be a circle. It doesn't really matter. It's really just part of the cluster. So we have the background, the anchor, and the accent. And as long as I have all of those, it works out great. Now I'm going to use this clear mono glue. Most of these pieces are pretty small, and I just really wasn't feeling using the ATG gun on most of these really tiny pieces. So I'm going to adhere these down. As you can see right there, we're just the tiniest bit of glue. I don't want there to be any warping or any glue spilling out of the edges, and so I'm just making sure to give a nice thin coat on the background and go forward from there. Now over there, I love the frame. I lifted the photo a little bit, placed the frame underneath it, and layered it with the other pieces. So cute. Now I'm going to do a similar thing over here by simply adhering the little label underneath the luggage, then putting a thin layer of glue on the luggage, and then putting that airplane right on top. This all has a vintage feel and sort of a muted color palette. It's really very fun. I like it a lot. Now you can see the 3 clusters, and we could draw a triangle in between those 3. Each of the little clusters is a vertex in the visual triangle. So obviously I'm not going to actually draw it, but you could, and you can imagine it right there. Now I've added the tiniest bit of brush lettering to get the week started. I'm just writing the activities and the things that we're doing throughout the week. Again, I wanted to keep this incredibly simple. I'm going to be adding a huge block of journaling right there to the left and below where I'm writing right now. And I recognize that that makes this week very heavy visually and with information. And so I don't want to go too crazy. All right, so we have got the beginning part of the week filled in for the activities. Now, it was really important to me to leave that big space so that I would have more room for journaling. I could have rearranged things a little bit differently so that they took up a little bit more space and there was not a big chunk for journaling, but I wanted to give an overview of the week. I don't plan on doing any really detailed journaling about my trip here because I will create a mini album all about the trip on its own where I will go into great detail. So I decided that this giving a swath of information did the trick. Now I'm going to go ahead and write all of these little things out right here. And look at that. I just love it. I love how it all comes together because the layering of the photos adds some complexity and also helps tell those stories. You have the embellishments doing the exact same thing, and you have the variety of visual textures, if you will. You have the little map, you have the star background on that circle. I just love it. So now I'm also using the highlighters and the mile or the clean color dot markers to help with the notating of things right there. You see that? And then I simply color in those letters where I write them. It just adds that tiny little extra something, and it's very, very simple to do. Now I'm sticking with black boxes this week because they match. You see the black in the ephemera. And again, to go back to the idea of keeping everything else very simple because the journaling will will take up a lot of room over there, and I just don't want it to be too much. So now look at that. I love it, but I recognize that I didn't add a third element to that cluster, and it's kind of bugging me. But I also feel like the photo is part of the cluster. Nah, couldn't do it. Needed to add this little floral. So I'm going to add some glue to the back, and then I'll simply have it overlap the label and then ever so slightly the taxi cab as well. Now that photo is funny. I came out of the subway and there was that big tall building and I took a picture of it and it turned out it was our hotel, which was not the reason I took the photo at all. Isn't that funny? It just sort of worked out that way. If you have not watched a video where I talk about these clean color dot markers, I love them. They are wonderful. They absolutely positively help me document, tell stories, everything very simply. If they stand out, I don't have to peel stickers off of a page, nothing. I just love them. They're so cute. And I have a variety, like maybe 10 of them that came in a package, and they work. That I have not needed other colors. Now, how have I wanted other colors? Sure. Have I needed them? No. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the dates simply using these Carpe Diem date stickers. They're perfect. They're so versatile, lots of colors. They match almost everything, and they really do help me stay on track so much easier. I love to stamp and I love to add stamped elements, but these stickers really just help me without having to work too hard. Now I'm going to draw the lines for my journaling right here, and I'm just going to use a pencil and I'm going to do it as lightly as I can. That way when I'm finished, I'll go back and I will erase the pencil lines. Again, for the thousandth time, because this will be so heavy with so much journaling, I want it to stay as light as possible. And so this way with the pencil, I can erase it and then there's no more added visual weight with the lines. Now I'm just going to add my journaling, just writing it all out by hand. I've never tried typing it and adding the sticker paper in my memory planner. I also don't, That's not really the vibe that I'm going for. This is meant to be really very personal and a very sort of close to my heart project, really documenting the ins and outs of our days. So I do prefer it this way. However, it really would work to add the clear sticker paper and the computer journaling here too. I'll have to give it a thought for places in the future where I don't have a whole lot of extra room for the journaling. That might be the ticket, am I right? All right, that's it for me. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks so much, and make it a great day.